Hello, how are you? Welcome back to ShowNewTrend. I'm host of today, and my name is Elvis Daring.
You know who agrees that women should not take Tylenol while pregnant? Yeah, Tylenol. They posted this in 2017, saying sometimes the best headache relief is getting outside. After all, brisk air is still fresh air. And they even commented saying, we actually don't recommend using any of our products while pregnant. Isn't that just fascinating? Now, this account has not been active since 2021, so we don't know if Tylenol actually owns this account, but the brand has not come out to dispute this, even though it's gone crazy viral. But the account does reshare Johnson & Johnson often, who was their parent company. And I just want to say I'm really disappointed in mothers who are not taking this seriously. It actually doesn't matter whether you agree that Tylenol can cause autism or not, because Tylenol can cause liver damage, and that's right on the label. So for those mothers who are just popping pills right now to prove a point, a political point at that, you're disgusting. And I would think that the love of your child is more than any hate you have for any administration. You're not supposed to take any other pain reliever or even eat deli meat, sushi, coffee while you're pregnant, but you think Tylenol is the magic one that's suddenly okay. Let's use some common sense here. Protect your child and protect yourself. But as always, let me know your thoughts about this and make sure you're following me for more.
About to take Tylenol for my headache while pregnant because I don't take my medical advice from a man who doesn't have a degree in science, healthcare, or medicine, and who had a parasitic brain infection and was addicted to heroin for 14 years. Yeah, I'll trust my doctors who have their degree.
Welcome back. Acetaminophen has long been considered the safest pain reliever for expecting moms to use during pregnancy, but now a new study out links the popular drug to some pretty serious long-term side effects for baby. Let's go ahead and bring in Dr. Masa Tarani, a board-certified rheumatologist. Doctor, tell us about the study and the results. And, I mean, it sounds like this is potentially transformational.
Yes, Jillian. So the group of researchers at Mount Sinai looked at over 46 studies, over 100,000 participants worldwide, and they found that in utero exposure to acetaminophen increases risk of autism as well as attention deficit hyperactivity type disorders. And the higher the dose, the longer the duration, increases this risk further. Now, we think this happens because acetaminophen can cross the placenta and it can interfere with the developing fetal brain with the chemical and hormonal signaling. And the big problem is acetaminophen, which is also known as brand names Tylenol, paracetamol, have been our go-to recommendations for pain and fever relief in these pregnant patients. I do have to say the study is not 100% cause and effect. It doesn't establish that, but it is a very strong observational study. And in this time where we're seeing such a significant rise in autism spectrum disorders, I don't think we should take this data lightly.
If you guys want to take away abortion rights, if you want to tell us that we can't take painkillers while pregnant because it causes autism, if you want to take all this shit away, take away my right to work! Take away my fucking right to have a fucking job! I don't want to work! I don't want to work! Okay? I don't care about women's suffrage, frankly, after everything else. Okay, I don't mean it like that. You guys get what I'm saying. If you're gonna take away anything, take away my right to work!
Hey, let me get this straight. So all of you made a huge deal about some project you said that Trump was going to enact, where women were not allowed to work and they had to stay in their homes and blah, blah, blah. Now here you are on the internet having a complete and total meltdown because you can't take Tylenol, which, by the way, that's a suggestion. That's a suggestion. Like, hey, let's put a little pin in that. Let's see if it's safe going forward. It wasn't a law that was enacted. Like, what do you mean you can't take it? It's just maybe not a great idea going forward. Maybe just weigh your options. It is wild to me that we live in a time where instead of asking, is it safe? You're asking, who's the one that said it? Maybe we should start treating you liberals like toddlers, give you 2 options and 2 options only, because when given all the options, you don't know what the F you want.
28 weeks pregnant. You know what I'm gonna take? So the Tylenol, the acetaminophen. It's gonna work like a charm, and my baby won't have autism.
What is happening here? Like, do you have a fever right now? If you don't, you probably don't need to be taking that. Anyway, I can hear it. Cheers erupting across big pharma boardrooms all across America. Mainstream media, they are all now running article after article saying that research doesn't show that using Tylenol causes autism. Well, except, what about this study from Johns Hopkins? From 2019, a new study from researchers at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health have found that exposure to acetaminophen in the womb may increase the risk of a child developing ADHD or autism. And also, all of these studies that date back many, many years. Tylenol themselves don't even recommend their products while pregnant. This is from 2017. Look, you cannot like Trump and also be critical of Big Pharma. Okay?
But with Tylenol, don't take it. Don't take it.
You have to watch that press conference rather carefully, because Trump got up there and said, look, these guys are saying they're seeing a signal. They're talking like scientists. They can't say don't take the Tylenol. He goes, I can say it. Don't take it. I'm using common sense. Don't take it. There's a signal. Why would you take it? And then people jumped into, well, what about inflammation? Acetaminophen is not an anti-inflammatory. It is not. And I can think of 0 conditions. I may be crazy high fevers, but even when there's a number of ways to lower the temperature, but then you take the risk reward into analysis, and then you might use the acetaminophen.
When do you need Tylenol?
I don't think and when the fever's over 105,
so
you might want to do it then.
It's really to break a extremely high fever.
Yes.
It's not gonna.
And there's a bunch
you don't
of other
need
stuff
it
you
for
can do.
101.
No.
Why not?
Because it might have a risk with autism. You could use it for 101 if you're not pregnant, but you don't need it.
The fewer things you can put into your body, the better.
Yes.
And we, antibiotics were God's gift breakthrough several years ago, and now we're seeing the people who had too many antibiotics. Look, you want to know the healthiest people on the planet? Amish people. Yeah. You want to know the second healthiest people? People that have an outdoor dog that comes in and sleeps on their bed at night. Like the sort of sunshine and hard work and exposure and all that kind of the less stuff you can put into your body, the better it's going to be overall, big picture. Sorry, and the vaccine schedule of 81 or whatever the hell it is, it sounds like to me exactly what it is. Way too much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Donald Trump and RFK came out recently and showed that there was some pretty compelling studies demonstrating a connection between pregnant women taking Tylenol and autism. So a bunch of pregnant progressive women dutifully ran out to social media and videoed themselves taking Tylenol, apparently in a sign of solidarity with autism. You know, if Donald Trump came out in favor of abortion, he could probably save millions of lives.
So the liver failures are starting to happen from taking too much Tylenol. Yep, you heard it right. Yep, so early this morning, some husband had to make a call because his wife decided that since Trump said not to take Tylenol, she took a handful of tablets, Tylenol or acetaminophen, and drank Tylenol, trying to prove Trump wrong. Tylenol ain't bad. Orange man bad. Well, early this morning, she was having liver failure. The crying, the pain, possibly a whole fucking miscarriage because she is pregnant. Rushed to the hospital. She's still in there, probably passing away, if not passed away by now. But let me tell you something. What we're not gonna do is blame anybody else besides that adult who decided to get a handful of poison and take it. Listen, you're not 1 or 2 or 3 years old. These are adults. It's time to quit blaming people for the stupidity of adults. And as much as I want to blame the left, it's not a left or a right thing. It's an adult and mental illness thing. Because a lot of these people been feeding into this bullshit so long, and they've consumed so much of these rhetoric, they are now mentally affected by all of this hate. And it's gotten to the point where they clearly hate their sitting president more than they would love their future baby. And like I said, that's not a left or a right thing. That's a you thing, a mental illness thing.
RFK Jr. just said Tylenol and pregnancy can cause increased autism risk. No way, he's literally a quack. Oh, so you don't trust Harvard? This has nothing to do with Harvard. No, this actually has everything to do with Harvard, considering it was from 46 studies that they did conduct. They found that prenatal Tylenol can increase neurodevelopmental issues, including autism. 50% of pregnant women worldwide use Tylenol. Harvard says to limit it. Parents deserve to know the risk. I'm not taking advice anything that orange man says and that quack staff recommends. We trusted Biden on the health stuff, and he didn't recommend this, so we're good. Right, so you'll take an experimental schmack sheen without question. But when Harvard says Tylenol might be risky for your kid, suddenly it's politics. Tylenol makes a toxic chemical in your body. Normally your body cleanses it out, but some people's genes make it hard to get rid of. This means more toxins, more inflammation, and more risk for the baby. Well, science is complicated. Right, I forgot that you guys neither believe in science nor biology, my bad. Fun fact, science does not care about your politics. Other countries already limit Tylenol in pregnancy, and yes, the US has one of the highest rates of autism globally. Informed consent matters. Don't let politics blind you. Facts matter when it comes to your child's health.
For all the pregnant moms who are pounding Tylenol publicly on TikTok right now because you hate Trump, somebody needs to be standing at the foot of your bed when you push that baby out, and they need to take it from you. They need to take it from you. You don't deserve that kid, okay? You don't. Because, listen, no matter what comes of this, if you are mentally that deranged and you're willing to put your kid at risk, not really knowing how this is going to play out, and you're willing to put your kid at risk because you hate somebody else, take them away. Because what else are you going to do to that kid? You cannot be trusted. Somebody needs to be there to take it.
I do believe that Tylenol in pregnancy is a huge issue. The thing that happens, I actually, believe that postnatally and perinatally, during labor and delivery, during, early childhood, early infanthood, that Tylenol is worse because the mom itself, in that developing unborn child, the mom has intact ways to detoxify Tylenol. So the dose that you're looking at during pregnancy that the unborn child is actually sustaining and having to detox is much less than the dose that the newborn is sustaining because the mom is not there to detox Tylenol. Is it a problem during pregnancy? Absolutely. There was just a research study that came out of Harvard University that showed that the rate of autism was and neurodevelopmental disorders was at least 80% higher in Tylenol use during pregnancy versus those moms that did not use Tylenol during pregnancy. Is it a factor? Yes. Is it worse after the baby's born? Absolutely.
Why would you take it? There's almost zero benefit and there's a non-zero chance of it being problematic. It's an analgesic, it's an antipyretic. If the fevers are very high, then by all means, your doctor is going to recommend you take Tylenol. But if you have a shoulder pain or some back pain, it's probably not worth the risk. Pregnant women shouldn't be taking anything. And this is just a further reminder of that. Listen, it only takes 15 to 20 of those Tylenol pills we're looking at. You take that all at once, you'll be dead in 3 days. It is one of the most lethal ways to commit suicide. These are not completely benign, although we treat it that way. During pregnancy, when the chromatin is open, pregnant women, in my opinion, should be exposed to as little as possible. And here now is a signal reminding us, CDC doing what it's supposed to do, HHS advising us, not taking medication away, not telling us exactly what to do, advising us that there's a signal. And Trump then said, hey, this is a common sense thing. Why would you do it? Don't do it. But the physicians, the scientists have to say, there's a signal, talk to your doctor. There are conditions where the risk reward is worth it, but most of the time, avoid it if you can.
Tylenol during pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good. For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary. That's, for instance, in cases of extremely high fever, that you feel you can't tough it out, you can't do it. I guess there's that. It's a small number of cases, I think. But if you can't tough it out, if you can't do it, that's what you're going to have to do. You'll take a Tylenol, but it'll be very sparingly. It can be something that's very dangerous to the woman's health. In other words, a fever that's very, very dangerous, and ideally a doctor's decision, because I think you shouldn't take it. And you shouldn't take it during the entire pregnancy. They may tell you that toward the end of the pregnancy, you shouldn't take it during the entire. And you shouldn't give the child the Tylenol every time he's born and he goes and has a shot. You shouldn't give a Tylenol to that child. All pregnant women should talk to their doctors for more information about limiting the use of this medication while pregnant. So ideally, you don't take it at all. But if you can't tough it out, or if there's a problem, you're going to end up doing it.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's show. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.